Good afternoon. It is Saturday, February the 18th, 2023. And it's the kickoff of 3 days up here in northwestern Washington. We're staying in Forks. We're kind of using it as a base camp. And when we come up here, we usually like to come out to the Olympic coast and do some day hiking. And we always try every year to pick off something new that we haven't really seen before. And glad we saved this hike for one of the last places that we haven't experienced yet. We're at the trailhead for Shi Shi Beach. We're currently on Bogachiel reservation lands, and it's about 1.7 miles through the forest to the beginning of the beach in the Olympic National Park boundary. Beyond the boundary, we hope to hike all the way south down the beach and explore Point of the Arches and check out potential for an exit of a much bigger coast hike maybe later on down the road. Keep in mind that to park here you have to stop in and buy a $20 recreational use permit from the Macaw tribe. It costs $20. You can pick it up at the Mini Mart in Nia Bay. Already, soon after leaving the trailhead, similarity with other coastal approach trails is the slick boardwalk. I love all the twisted stumps in this scene right here. How the trees just grow wherever they want. Path is pretty muddy, kind of just walking straight through it, but Sarah found a path off to the side over there. Seems to be granting drier access as we make our way through this coastal old growth. Sound of the surf and pounding of waves is getting stronger. Pretty soon we should be breaking out of the forest and down onto the beach. And just like that, got our first views looking down onto the coast. It looks really wild down there. The tide's going out. I heard that makes for better wave pounding. There is one way down right here, but we're going to go further down the trail. See if we can find the real way. If not, we know that we can use that rope right there. Alright, it looks like we have made it to the Olympic National Park boundary. We drop steeply down a few flights of stairs, greeted with this nice, comfortable camp spot right up off the beach. It looks like we just got to go this way. And, I will lay my eyes upon Shi Shi Beach for the first time. Sarah's already out there. There we have it. already. Over there's some incredible sea stacks. Lots of rocks, lots of big waves out there off the end of the tide pools that are probably underneath that water. And all that dramaticness over there, a collection of sea stacks. That's where we're heading, Point of the Arches. Look at this fresh water coming right out of the sand. Making its way down in its own little waterway out to the Pacific. Really cool place so far. All these layers of upturned sedimentary rock. Just going to get better as the tide drops even more tonight. Really, really cool spot. What have you got there, Sarah?
So I was looking at all the holes in this rock. Filled. Each one is filled with what I think is a very small anemone. Every time you touch something in there, it contracts like an anemone. You can't really see it underneath all the sand. There's a snail here. I don't know who's eating who.
It's really hard to make good time down these beaches when there's so many oddities to look at. That's really what makes these hikes fun. And it's just having a curious brain and poking around all these little pools of water, all the things you see. It's a beachcomber's paradise for sure. Making our way over to the other side of Shi Shi Beach, and over there is where we came down out of the forest, and I believe that point right there is Cape Flattery, the most northwest point, the lower 48 contiguous United States, and then beyond that is Canada. There's Vancouver Island way over there. I don't know if you can make it out. Green foothills out there. A little bit of snow on them. And we are quickly approaching Point of the Arches. Hopefully the tide is low enough so that when we get out there, we can get around that point safely. Get over onto the other side. It looks really cool over there. I'm starting to see why they call it Point of the Arches. good place up there for a star observatory. That's what it looks like to me. We're gonna walk out and try and go through one of these arches. The tide is low enough right now to offer ample amounts of exploring. This crab has been crawling along here. Hopefully I don't disturb his journey and my journey. The intertidal zone. Here's a view looking back up Shi Shi Beach the way we came. It felt about 2 miles long from where we entered the beach, and another 1.7 after that through the mud trail. Incredible vantage point in this corner of Washington State. We've kind of reached this spot where there's a lot of tide pools intersecting all the rock crossings, and we are at one of the arches. Just a big mass, a conglomerate sedimentary rock. Sarah's over there kind of exploring, poking around through it. A lot of life teeming on these rocks. A reality of hiking these Olympic beaches is there's a lot of impasses that you can't get around because of these tide pools. So we're gonna retrace our steps and head back towards the point and make our way up into that next cove over there. And that's the designated turnaround spot. Hopefully we get a different angle, some different lighting over in there. Alright, we have retraced our steps back towards the mainland, and we are crossing over to the other side. We should have a different view of the point of the arches from this next cove over here. Alright, short, quick, and fulfilling. We've reached our turnaround spot. This this nice gravelly beach on the backside of one of the arches. In order to save sunlight, we do kind of have to turn around, go back to the trailhead. I can't believe this place has been here my whole life, and this is my first time seeing it. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's always room for something new whenever you go out into the wilderness. Can't wait to come back and continue on from here and see what more wonders await further down the Olympic coast between here and Cape Alava. So I head back around the arches, go back up the beach, and hopefully get some nice sunset shots. Just like that, we're back onto the beach, heading north. This is definitely one of my new favorite places to come to. Can't wait to return. Right up there in those trees where that kind of clothesline is on the left of the creek. It's a pretty sweet camp spot. I'm gonna remember that if I ever come back through these parts. It's a pretty good place to stay. It's got a pretty outstanding view looking out over the ocean. The tide is still going out for another couple of hours after sunset. You can really see the extent of the tide pools, kind of being protected by this reef of upturned sedimentary rock. Guess this is good night from Shi Shi Beach. Head back up into the trees and make the muddy slog back to the trailhead. Alright, good afternoon. And we are starting day number 2 in Forks with a quick little hike down to Second Beach. Haven't been here in a long time. In fact, we haven't been down to Second Beach since the first time we came up to Forks. I like how almost every coastal walk begins with a stroll through some dense coniferous old growth. Bubbling creeks all around. about to arrive at Second Beach. Not that long of a walk through the woods. Only about 7/10 of a mile. We came out of the trees just right over there on the right, and here it is, Second Beach. A lot different than I remembered it 10 years ago, the last time I was here. It's another arch or hole-in-the-wall feature over there. It is high tide, or just after right now, so a little bit different water conditions, but we are losing it. It is going out, so that should make for some pretty fantastic waves, which seem to be bigger on the ebb. We are going to try and poke our way up the beach for a little bit. We're going to head south. On a time constraint today, so we're no rush, just pure fun. It's kind of this giant sea stack right up in your face here, and then we have Sarah, and we're gonna head that way, picking our way through all that driftwood. wonder what story lies behind this craft and how it ended up stranded on these beaches. We are almost to the end of the line here on Second Beach. We're going to take a little break. Here's what the end of Second Beach looks like. A lot of really cool sea stacks down here and walls. If the tide was out a little bit further, possible we could probably make it out to some of those. Still really cool being here at high tide or just after, just to see the different conditions. Second Beach. Took a little break, had a snack, and now we're gonna head back north up the beach again to the trailhead. It was very sandy, very soft, very easy, very pleasant. This is a very nice spot over here, I have to say. The sea stacks behind me are pretty epic. But we do have some time constraints. Chose this hike because Second Beach is relatively accessible, easy, and offers a lot of bang for a little bit of buck. You have to make it up to Line Decker Point, back up at the confluence, Bogachiel, Salduck, hopefully meet our friend Tom Matthews, and see if we can get in on another adventure and experience another side of Forks that it is world famous for. Can't stop thinking about Earth and its oceans of liquid water, making a very habitable world. The ocean just brings so much joy, happiness, and want for life, it seems. Very reflective place. What's not to like? Places like this. We have arrived at Line Decker Point. It's kind of a good example of why they call this place Forks. This is the Salduck River here. And I am standing at the confluence of it. Where it's about to enter the Bogachiel and converge with it, and then turn into a completely different river that is called the Quileute. And that goes for several miles in that direction right there until it hits the push. goes out to the Pacific Ocean. You can see over there how the Bogachiel is coming in from the left.
God, these rivers are so peaceful, Tom.
I know they are, aren't they?
They are.
We have met up with our good friend Tom Matthews. The one man I know who has mastered thinking like a fish in order to catch a fish. We'll see if we can at least get a bite tonight. A lot of people have gone down the river before us. The odds are stacked against our favor. But a ride down the Bogachiel River is totally worth it.
Thanks for wanting to take us, though.
Huh?
Thanks for wanting to
Oh,
take
yeah.
us, though.
Yeah. The heart's in the right spot anyway, huh? Oh, here comes the wind. Lower Bogachiel wind.
Woo! Makes sense. It was windy at the beach.
We are in search of the elusive steelhead trout. Water has a nice, good green color to it.
Hooked on that feeling of anticipation.
Yeah, oh, I think you do. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you go some last summer, Eric? Or Sarah?
I did.
Did you?
Aaron got me a new pole.
Oh, yeah? New jigging rod?
I love jigging.
I do, too.
I want to go even more this year if I can. We'll be home more. Last year we went away for 6 weeks, so we missed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the object here is Tom is rowing backwards against the current
Pull and plug.
as the plug shakes voraciously against the water as we slowly go down the river. And the steelhead trout is very territorial. Can't resist if backed into a corner.
Definitely higher. Yep, the early fish like the upriver.
That's crazy.
They go higher when they're earlier in the season.
Huh.
Uh-huh. What do they call it, Caitlin?
So this is my friend Tom Matthews.
Stroking on the Bogachiel.
He's stationed up here in Forks for half the year.
How y'all doing?
He's a master of what he does.
Learn something every day, though. Yeah. We're gonna go all the way down here. What time is it, sir? I'm checking.
Tom is a state technician And he gathers DNA samples off of salmon and steelhead.
Let's go on down then.
And he works up here
Ooh, I
during
think we had
the
a big
winter
take
and
here
early
once,
spring
too.
runs of the
I
steelhead.
think so.
Very
Looks familiar.
dedicated to his work. And whenever he gets a free moment, he likes to go drifting down the rivers in search of his own steelhead encounters.
Love to get a takedown when he's filming it.
That would be awesome if we got a takedown when it was on film. Priceless. But it's okay if we don't.
Bam! Fish on one. Let's go. Get one right here. Good spot. Used to be.
Testament to the power of the river when all the logs are laying in one direction. It's just a good looking slot in here.
You guys reel them off, would you? Sarah knows. We're going to put them out here. You know, Sarah.
It looks so
Go
good.
ahead, start putting her out, Sarah.
All right.
There you go.
They're elusive this evening.
What's that?
They're elusive this evening.
Yeah, they are.
The elusive steelhead trout.
Yeah, the power drift is just about over.
Oh, it's almost over. We haven't caught any.
Getting closer to dark now. And we didn't have any encounters.
Then tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
We got a nice fresh start tomorrow.
Where's this working out the cobweb?
We're just passing under the La Push Road. And just down around the corner is Line Decker Point. Good morning. It is Monday, February the 20th, 2023. It's the President's Day holiday. And there's a lot of epic history that we've had on this day going down rivers. It is a typical average day of Forks weather. We're about to start steelhead fishing in 100% rain.
Got the hat today, so that helps.
Alright, we have started and we are committed
Committed to the Bogachiel.
to a long drift down the Bogachiel. We started at the hatchery. We're heading down to Line Decker Point. You can see the color difference between two different rivers that are converging here. We have the Bogachiel on this side, and then that's the Kalawa River where it comes into the Bogachiel. And it just swells this river and makes it a bit bigger.
But I learned about hydraulics on the river and stuff like how it works, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Even though I have the pole out and Sarah has one on her side, the person who's really fishing here is Tom, because he's on the oars. He's the one that's directing the bait down the slots in the river and like rowing against the current
so it gives it that action. Like, all we have to do is just reel them in. It's Tom that really gets all the credit. Because he's the one that's directing the bait. It's kind of cool getting to fish under trees like that. All the moss draping off of them.
Good spot. Stroke.
Targeting these pockets right here where the current is moving down and the fish will rest up in these pockets. And as we back troll the plug right past the fish, they strike it. Not really because they're hungry, but because they're mad at it. But the water clarity is not the best today. As you can see, it's got a tint to it. So all that means is we just got to get it right in their face. I have no idea how much it rained last night, but evidently a lot, because the river's definitely up. There's some tint of brown from all the creeks pouring into it. It's just really hard conditions today for good steelhead fishing. Tom's been having to fight the weather all the way down the river, and he still wants to go hit up the sawduck in a couple hours tonight.
Oops, look at that. Yeah.
Alright, we're just about done with this drift. Just fishing these last stretches up to the takeout. I think we all can agree we got pretty numb hands. It's very cold and very wet coming down the river today. Alright, we have left the Bogachiel and the weather is saying that we should go inside and get warm, but we wouldn't be hardcore fishermen if we only went when the weather was nice. So here we are at Shua, about to hop on the sawduck. It has a much better color, a steeper grade, and one last chance to hopefully put a steelhead in the net.
You saw that?
We are committed to the Sawduck River. And Tom is showing us spawning beds in this gravel right here. And look at the difference in the clarity between the two rivers. The Bogachiel we were on earlier today, which had turned to chocolate milk. It's a lot flatter grade compared to this river, which is a little bit steeper, I guess. And it just looks a lot more fishy here. Don't have much river to cover on this drift. It's going to be a short power drift. Target a couple spots, I guess, really well. Very deep hole right here. Very green water. very clear with the size of those boulders. That's exactly what the Salduck is famous for. It has more rapids than other rivers I've heard. Requires just a bit more skill on the oars to go down.
Weight, Aaron, all right? Keep your weight real centered up right here. There you go.
Finally, it stopped raining enough for me to get the camera out. We had one really epic takedown further up the river. Got a chance to see giant steelhead roll out of the sticks. Big pink gill plate and stripe going down it. Indication of a big buck. And it spit the hook just as fast as it took the hook. Other than that, not much action. Alright, it is just about dark. There's not much daylight left. And we are at the takeout. Very wet, very rainy, very soaked. Everything's just dripping. Sarah had a really good takedown just around the corner to the left there, just before we pulled up on the bank. She got to fight it for, I don't know, half a minute. Got a good visual. Require us to fish with single point barbless hooks. It's incredibly hard to land these fish if they're not hooked perfectly. Tom's just coming down the way here with the rig. We're gonna load up and get out of here. And that's a wrap.
Let's put that strap on here, sir.
Boat is up on the ramp. And just about can't see anymore. One last look. The Salduck.